Hey guys, Bryce back here with Nightlife Kennel. Tonight I got my buddy Steven Basham with me tonight. We're going to do things a little bit different for you guys tonight. Instead of filming a full-blown coon hunt, we have decided to film a little, review on a few thermals. Steven and I are pretty big into the competition side of things, and we go to all these different competition hunts, and everybody wants to talk about which thermal they think is the best bang for the buck, which one has the most features, so on and so forth. So Steven and I got kind of tired of hearing about it, and we decided we're going to test it out. Steven has been working with a guy who's a local retailer, I believe it's with Santa Claus Optics, right?
Yes, Travis Shelton with Santa Claus Optics.
Yep, and so Steven got a hold of him, told him what we were wanting to do, and he was gracious enough to send us 4 different thermals to try out, and then I have another one myself, which is the Flir. So we have 5 different thermals that we're going to review for you guys tonight. Whenever we go to the woods, we'll find the setting on each thermal, which you can see the coon the best. Some of them work better with white hot, some of them better with red hot. But for time's sake and just trying to be as thorough with this as we can, we'll just find the best setting and we'll show that to you guys in the woods. So we're going to start off by going cheapest to most expensive with a few of the features on each thermal. And I'm going to turn this over to Steven since he's the one who's been working with these for the last week or so, and he can tell you guys all about these things.
All right, so first we have the AGM Micro 160. It is roughly the size of your hand. This price point on this one is about $500. Maybe give or take a little bit less with taxes and stuff, but roughly about $500. This one here is going to be your lowest setting, lowest optic that we have. It's obviously not going to do the job that most of your higher priced ones are, but we're looking, this will be my first time out in the woods with this one tonight. We're just seeing if this has a place in the coon hunting world. So this one right here is the Micro 160.
You said that was about $500?
$500.
$500, okay.
And then I will let Bryce tell you about this one because this is actually his.
Yeah guys, this is my personal unit. I've been using this for about 2 years now. This is the Flir Scout 240. This price ranges is about $1,300 to $1,500, depending on where you get it at. And these are getting kind of hard to find now because they did discontinue these. I have been using this for 2 years now, and I thought it was a great unit until I went out with Steven last week and I tried out a couple of these other ones. So, like I said, this is a good unit. It does the job. It has found me several coons. I have won several casts using it. But like I said, it is on the cheaper end of the spectrum, and I do believe it is on the lower end of the spectrum since I've used some of these other ones tonight. But we'll go ahead and take it out to the woods tonight, show you guys what it's capable of, and we'll move on to the next one. So this was the Flir Scout 240, price $1,300 to $1,500.
All right, next on our list, it's going to look identical to the Micro 160, and this one is the Micro TM384. Obviously, I'm going to show you the two side by side, same size, same everything. Really, the only difference you're going to have is the inside components. This one right here is the price point is about identical to the Flir. You're looking at $1,300 to $1,500. Next, we have a very sought after one. This is kind of one that everybody flocked to after the Flirs started getting discontinued. That is the Pulsar Key XM30. All I heard about was how good these units were. I'll let you guys judge. In my personal opinion, I believe that the AGM Micro surpasses this one. We actually did a video a few nights ago on my Facebook page and kind of ranked them from 1 to 4. We didn't have the 160 at the time, and Bryce actually, because he's familiar with the Flir, ranked the Flir above the Pulsar. Now this Pulsar is kind of getting up in the high end of the spectrum. You're looking at about $1,700-$1,800 for this Pulsar.
That's what a lot of the competition guys are using right now,
yes,
correct?
That
you
is
go
correct.
to a big PKC hunt, which they're legal in. UKC, they're not. Just throwing that out there. A lot of these guys are carrying the Pulsars. So this is something that a lot of people have, a lot of people like, and we'll let you guys be the judge of that tonight.
The good thing I would say about the Pulsar that I like is if you've ever used a little handheld video device, it's got that little strap on the side. I do I think that is pretty convenient. I do like that quite a bit. I like that it fits right in your hand. So as far as having it readily accessible, this one here does do the job. For me, though, as we pointed out last time, looking inside of it, it's just like looking down a little tube. But they do the job. Like he said, if this is what you have, we'll show you a few things tonight, and maybe it'll help you out. And then to the best one, in my opinion.
I do also agree.
This right here is the AGM TM25 384. I just want to kind of compare it. This right here is to the Flir. You're going to see not much of a difference, a little bit. It is a little bit thicker on the front. To the Pulsar, it is a big difference. So you can see the advantages to having this. In my opinion, what all coon hunters are looking for, it gives me detail. It gives me not too much sensitivity, which in my opinion is the number one fault of the Flir, is when you look up in the sky during humidity nights, it gives you so much sensitivity that it's hard to determine what's what.
Right, it picks up a lot of residual heat.
Yes.
And when you're using that Flir, you almost have to cup your hand around the end of it to block out that residual heat, which, like I said, I've been using it for 2 years. I've got used to it. I don't even think about it anymore. Until I picked up this AGM 25. You point in the sky, you're seeing nothing but the heat from the direct heat source. There's no outside heat. The clarity of the trees is unbelievable. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this one, along with the Micro, has a zoom on it, correct?
Yes. They both have a zoom. They both have video capability. So we find it easier, just for time purposes, to use our phone, put our phone up to the end of the eyepiece and just video it through there. However, if I hit the video button, I can actually plug this into a computer and get the actual live feed and download it. But this is the AGM 25. Here you're looking at about $1,800. That's as high as I personally want to try any out. They do have some out there. Pulsar, Hellion, everybody raves about $4,500. So obviously, you know, you can get ridiculous with these things. But this right here, in my opinion, for training, not just competition hunting. For me, I like them more so training than I do competition hunting. This right here does the job for me. It's still not 100%. You're still going to have those nights, those trees where you're at the bottom of the hill and the trees on top of the hill, and you're looking straight up at the sky. You're probably still not going to find it with this. So we have to use a little bit of common sense when it comes to these thermals, making sure that we're not relying solely on this.
Yeah, you don't want to get to the point where you're solely relying on a piece of equipment. If that equipment fails, you got to know how to find the coon, guys. We all know the squalor techniques. We all know what to look for with the silhouette. But these things definitely help out. They definitely give you an advantage when training pups. Like Steven said, you know when to praise them, you know when to correct them, send them on. And in hunts, in a tough situation, these things can be a lifesaver. So the whole purpose of this is to try and find the best thermal in a reasonable price range. We understand they are expensive, but a reasonable price range for the average coon hunter to go out and have the latest and greatest technology. I think we all look forward to that. I think we all enjoy playing around with new stuff. And hopefully tonight we'll be able to get some of this on video for you guys. So, like I said, we're going to go out to the woods. We're going to turn a few dogs loose. We're not going to film the hunt. Hopefully the dogs can treat us a coon, and we'll be able to show you each of these thermals in action. So stay tuned, and we'll meet you guys out in the woods. All right, guys. So we have Daisy in here. She's got the coon. We have found it. Just to give you a little perspective, the coon is sitting right up in there, and right there where my laser is, that's where the coon is. So we're going to go through these models of thermals with you guys, and we'll show you what we find on this thing. So we're going to start with the cheapest of the cheap, which is, Steven?
It is the Micro 160. So we're going to look up. Now, this one right here is one we have not used before. So it's showing me right there. I'm not able to see nothing. With this model here, the coon's right in there somewhere. But like I said, with this model here, this is a real cheap model. This is a real cheap model. I'm not able to tell a difference. So for me, this $500 Micro 160 just doesn't cut the mustard. So we're gonna go to the next one.
The Flir?
The next one is gonna be the Flir.
That's on red 3.
So we're seeing a bunch of residual heat up there. It is very humid tonight, guys. Very humid tonight. Does this thing zoom?
No, the Flir does not zoom.
Okay, the Flir does not zoom. So the Coon, if you see the red spots on your left, let me get up here. There we go. If you see the red spots on your left, the Coon is actually to the right of that a little bit. Like I said, on here we're seeing a bunch of residual. Let's go through the color palettes real quick and see if we can point him out.
It's the P.
Oh, it's the P. I'm not that familiar. So we're not picking him up on the Flir. So we're gonna go on to the Micro. This one right here, price point, we're looking at $1,300 for this one. So we're on black. You can see the black dot. Let me get the zoom button on. If I can get the zoom button to work. There we go. So you can see the big black blob. That right there is the Coon. So we're going to go to a different color palette so y'all can see that plain as day. Right there it is again. There it is again. Fusion. Now you're going to get some residual heat on the Fusion. But you can see it right there. Red hot. So this one right here is the $1,300 version. I think the quality between the phone and the thermal also doesn't give it as good of a picture as what it does in real life.
Right. Oh, to the naked eye on these thermals, guys, these things are really nice just looking through them. But the camera on the phone and then going to the thermal, it's a little tough.
So we're trying to do the best we can. So this right here is your Pulsar. Yes. Look at this.
Oh yeah. Oh wow, yeah.
So that right there, guys, you see on the right, you can totally tell. Obviously on the left is the branches, but you can see on the right. So that Pulsar, actually, that's the best I've seen the Pulsar look. See, there's another good one. There's white. But for me, honestly, with all these different colors, there's black. Black works pretty good. Y'all can see that. There's white hot. But like I said, even when you're using these guys, you still got to learn them. You still got to learn what's residual heat. Look through this blue. That's pretty nice. You still got to know what's residual heat and what is an actual cone. So
I do like that blue.
It takes a little bit of getting used to. It really does. It's not just going to pop out every single time. Now, we have come to the grand finale, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, guys, the AGM 25. This son of a gun right here is slick.
So, obviously, you see how big the reticle is. That's what gets me. This LED screen that's inside of it is just ginormous. And it just makes it so easy to pick the coons out. Right there's your coon. Only thing it's red. So y'all see the difference With all the other ones, you see the limbs, everything had residual heat. But this one here, AGM25, the only thing you see red right there is the coon.
And the clarity, you guys, to the naked eye, you can outline a tree with this thing. It is awesome.
So we're going to switch between the different mods to kind of help y'all out. So y'all see there's black. That one's fusion. That one's going to be a lot more sensitive. But that right there is your red hot. And that right there, I mean, you can look. You can see all the limbs on the tree. Actually, let me zoom out. There we go. You can see my daughter and the dog over there go up the tree. And you can see that nothing else is red. Nothing else is red. Until you get up to the coon. And there it is. So now we have went through the different price points. We've went through the $500 Micro 160. We've went through the Micro, the AGM Micro. We've went through the Pulsar. And we've went through the AGM 25.
All right, guys, in my opinion, the AGM 25 is by far the best, you can't say bang for the buck, but it is the best thermal right here that we have used. It is the most expensive one, but it's the most expensive one for a reason. You find the coon, it's not hard to pick it out. Residual heat is not there. All color palettes work. This is the only one that I've found that I like every color palette on it. If I were to say best bang for the buck, and I think Steve would agree with me, it would be the AGM Micro. $1,300, a little bit smaller than this, easier compact to carry. The resolution is good. It's not the best, but it also does a great job of being able to find the coon. After that, I go down to the Flir. I like the Flir personally. I've just learned how to use it. But the Pulsar came in strong tonight with that blue color palette. I haven't used that yet. I liked what I saw there, so maybe a couple more nights in the woods with the Pulsar, it might jump up a spot. And obviously the $500 one, I don't think it has a spot for coon hunting. That coon is pretty clear. There's not a lot of leaves hiding it, and you still couldn't see him real well. So I think the $500 thermal, out of the game. I wouldn't even waste my money on it, guys. But if I were you, I'd look into the AGMs, either the 25 or the Micro.
Go over just as far as getting the experience with the thermal. It's not something that's just, you're not going to have an arrow that says, here the coon is.
Right. That is one thing I had to learn with the Flir. One thing about this Flir, like we talked about, it is very heat sensitive. So whenever I'm looking up into the tree, you can't just look at it with your hand like this and expect to see everything, because there is a lot of residual heat. With the Flir, you actually have to cup the end of it, and you have to work your hand around in order to block out that heat. So it is a learning curve. The first month I had this Flir, I hated it, did not like it, because I didn't know how to use it. I went hunting with a guy who had used one when they first came out. He taught me the right way how to use it, and ever since then I've been able to find some coon. But like you said, with all of them, it does have a learning curve to them. The 25 though, it'd probably be the quickest learning curve. I'd say you give it to a guy, and after 2 or 3 trees, he'd have it figured out. What you think, Steven?
Oh yeah, I think that there's still going to be certain trees that you're going to run into, you know, where the base of the tree is, say, on a mine spoil, and you're down below and you're looking straight up or something like that. Yep. You still got to get a line of sight with these things. They're not miracle workers. It's not going to be a arrow that points, says, here's the coon. So you're going to have to work it. You're going to have to learn it. But all in all, I think it is an excellent game-changing tool.
For sure.
How long would it have found us to find this coon?
You know, actually,
or took us?
It took us probably 6 or 7 minutes to find the coon, and that was with the thermal. This is a big tree. We didn't even see the coon before we had the thermal on it. Obviously, once the thermal picked it up, we were able to slightly make it out. But like I said, even with the thermal, it still took us 6 or 7 minutes. And in a competition where you have 8 minutes to shine, that right there just changed the game. You just got plus points. So whether it's for training, whether it's for competition, whether it's just for pleasure, to show your buddies that, hey, my dog has the meat, these thermals are the way to go. If you can afford one, they're a nice tool to have on you at all times. All right, Guys, well, we just got back from an night of hunting. I really hope that you guys were able to see the difference in those thermal imagers, the quality, the different color palettes, and the size and all that good jazz that goes along with all these things. There are several different price points, like we tried to point out to you guys, all the way from $500 up to about $1,800. And I think you can tell in the video that obviously the more expensive ones are more expensive for a reason. They are so much clearer, the quality is unmatched, and you're actually able to find the coon much easier without the residual heat and without the blurriness of the cheaper ones. So I hope you were able to get something useful out of this, and make sure you guys comment below this video if there's anything else you'd like to know about these thermal imagers, and reach out to us on social media if you have any other questions. Until next time, true one for us.